And of course, I mean, remembering all these things also goes a long way to describe your persona.
Wonderful. It has been a great association with you.
So it is, I will say it is just a beginning that the LC2 has made in connecting you with the law faculty. So we'll be having many more occasions to connect.
It will be my pleasure.
So we are waiting for now the professor in charge. प्रोफेसर महावीर तो बहुत पंक्चुअल है.
सर नमस्कार सर. गुरदीप सर नमस्कार सर.
Good evening, sir. Sir, you're muted.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you are very much audible. Good evening, sir.
Thank you so much. So nice and pleasant to see all of you.
Same here, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, Sachin, how are you?
बिल्कुल बढ़िया सर, आप कैसे?
Yes, me. Do you recall?
Of course, sir. Of course. How can I ever forget you, sir? I see you. I studied under you, sir. How can I forget?
You know.
I was wondering if you remember me, sir.
Everything fine?
Everything fine, sir. Everything.
Sir, Justice Mini is also with us. She is also joined.
Good evening.
Push karna.
It's Professor Gurdeep Singh Desai.
So nice to see you. Good evening.
Achha, Justice Penjor were your classmate in 90, I think 5 or 6, I think he passed out.
Sorry, who? Justice?
From Bhutan, who became the, judge in the Supreme Court of Bhutan, because I think he's also of this batch 94 or 95 batch or 96, something like that.
Okay, I'm not aware. I'm 1996 batch, so I'm not really aware.
You itself?
I'm from the Campus Law Center, 1996 batch.
Good evening to all of Justice Mini, Parisa, Sachinji, Usha. Good evening to all of you.
Anji, good evening, Professor Kiran.
Welcome to Law Center 2.
Professor,
Parisa,
sorry.
Parisa, namaskar.
Joining, ma'am. Immediately joining, ma'am.
Justice Mini.
Good evening.
Good evening. I am Kiran Gupta from Law Center 2.
Yes, so nice to meet you.
So any other colleague of the same batch with you here, maybe here in Delhi High Court or some other court?
Yes, there are so many practicing as lawyers, definitely.
No,
and so well.
But in that bar, I mean,
in the judiciary, no. In the judiciary, no. But at the bar, definitely, yes.
You know, 1982 and 84 batch is so famous for this that so many judges have been elevated to the, first to the High Court and then, of course, to the Supreme Court. एक ही बैच के 6-7 at least the students of those days.
I think that's a very rare thing.
Oh,
From
yes, yes.
from the
Students of
82 batch, three are the present sitting judges
Ha, ha,
from
ha.
82 batch.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Remember, I taught Justice Chandrachud and Sanjay Paul. They were
Hanji.
in the same section. Chandrachud
Yeah.
used to sit at the front bench and Sanjay Paul back bench. Now, both are Supreme Court judges. Maybe very soon, Chandrachud takes over as Chief Justice of India. And it's, world is very small. World is very small. I still remember both of them as my students in the same section in LLB first year.
Oh, wonderful. So that speaks of the high quality of education that has been imparted by you. I can only say that.
It is for you to
Yeah.
judge.
And sir, I mean, our Faculty of Law is going to give the first Chief Justice, Lady Chief Justice, female of India. Justice Nagaratna is again from Delhi University. Yeah.
Ma'am, I did not know that. I did not know that Justice Nagaratna is from Delhi University.
Oh, yes, she is from here. Yeah.
I didn't know. That's new.
Yeah. Even that day, the other day, Justice Indra Banerjee came here, and she also has spoken from the dais. And I was wondering, you know this? We to know it. Why? Because in any case, we feel proud to be associated. But
That only means we are interacting less. We need to be interacting more.
yes, but she has come from,
I think
the-
Avi sir has joined.
Yes,
Sir,
sir. I
pranam,
have प्रणाम प्रणाम सर नमस्कार
Namaskar, namaskar.
कैसे हो सर अरे सर जी लेने दो कैसे हो सर ठीक हो
Very
नमस्कार
fine.
मैम
हाँ जी, नमस्कार। मैं तो
नमस्कार।
कह रही थी कि प्रोफेसर महावीर तो पंक्चुअल रहते हैं, आज कहाँ रह गए?
नहीं मैं यही हूँ ऑफिस में
ऑल वेल?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी। मैं मीटिंग में था एक्चुअली यूनिवर्सिटी में कि अभी आया हूँ
should we begin, ma'am, with your permission?
Yes, yes. Surely, it's already time.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Anjali, please.
Sir, I would just like you to ensure that I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
All right.
Yeah.
A very good evening to the August gathering here. It's my pleasure and honor as of the Moot Court Society of Law Center 2 to welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of the S.K. Puri Memorial International Moot Court Competition, Justified 2022. As our flagship Moot Court competition, the S.K. Puri Memorial Moot has been a grand annual event at Law Center 2 since 2018. The Memorial Moot is organized in the memory of the late Mr. Surinder Kumar Puri, a doyen of the Delhi Bar, in collaboration with the Office of Senior Advocate, Mr. Sachin Puri, who is also present here with us today. Mr. Sachin Puri is an illustrious alumnus of Law Center 2 and is taking forward the legacy of his father's commitment to excellence in the legal profession through this moot. We thank you for your benefaction, sir. The tradition of our flagship moot has been kept alive by the Moot Court Society even during the lockdown by hosting the competition on a virtual platform. However, that has not deterred the enthusiasm of teams as we saw participation from more than 30 teams in our last edition. And we have 36 incredibly talented teams with us for this edition as well. The moot proposition for this year focuses on issues of contemporary geopolitical relevance pertaining to nuclear conflicts and role of international organizations and treaties in maintaining global peace. Our participants shall engage in debate about individualized versus globalized social order and the boon and bane of hyper-nationalism and the consequences of these things on human rights. We look forward to an intense battle of wit and wish all our teams the very best. We are joined here today by Honorable Justice Mini Pushkarna, Judge of the High Court of Delhi, as the chief guest for this inaugural ceremony, and Honorable Professor Gurdeep Singh Bahri, Chancellor of IMS Unison University in Dehradun, who is our guest of honor. I welcome your ladyship and sir and thank them for their gracious presence. I now invite the faculty convener of Moot Court Society of Law Center 2, Professor Kiran Gupta, to deliver the convener's address. Professor Gupta has had an illustrious career spanning 4 decades at the faculty, where she has handled several batches of students to attain their true potential. Ma'am is a passionate advocate of the Moot Court Society and as convener has helped us grow by leaps and bounds. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Anjali. Friends, good evening to all of you. A very good evening. Today is a very auspicious day for Law Center. We are going to inaugurate our flagship Moot Court, SK Puri Memorial International Moot Court competition today, Justified 2022. I feel it my privilege as the convener of the Moot Court Society to welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of this Moot Court competition. Friends, Law Center 2 now is 50 years old. This year we are celebrating the Golden Jubilee year, and during the last 50 years, Law Center 2, since its inception itself, has enthusiastically encouraged a robust mooting culture among its students by regularly organizing moot court competition and debates. You know, before 2017, Law Center 2 was running from a rented building in a college, Atmaram Sannatam Dharam College at Dholakua, and we were not having the facility to use the building throughout the day. The building was available to us only in the evening. So what we used to do is, first of all, we have followed the practice of having moot competition in the class itself, intra-class moot court. Then we started it with, we started the intersection moots. Then we started the inter-center moot courts, and then we started the inter-university moot court of the university falling in NCR area. The reason being that at that time, we were not having the full time to organize a national moot court. But even during that time, when I took up the internship, when I took up the in chargeship of Law Center 2 in 2014, I thought of organizing a national moot court in 2015. We were not having a building at that time. We requested the in charge of Law Center 1 to give us permission to hold the moot court in his building. And he graciously accepted our request. And we organized the National Moot Court competition and we named it Justified 2015. That was our first moot court, which started from the building of Law Center 1. Then later on, we have shifted, the Law Center 2 has been shifted to 2017 in the North Campus, new building, Umang Bhavan. So that building was available to us, at least for organizing functions throughout the day. And in 2007, we have again organized the second edition of the Justified. It was named as Justified National Moot Court, Law Center 2 National Moot Court Competition 2017, Justified 2017. In the very first edition in 2015, we have seen enthusiastic participation from across the country, with 34 major law schools participating through their learned mooters. In the second edition, that is Justified 2017, It was organized at a larger scale, and the response of the team throughout India was very, very welcoming in response. From 2018 onwards, we are organizing this annual moot court along with Mr. S.K. Puri ji, in the memory of his late father, S.K. Puri. With him, we have already organized 3 moots in 18, 19, and 20, which, as has been told by Miss Anjali, that the 2020 moot court was organized in the virtual mode because of the COVID. This is the 4th edition of the S.K. Puri Memorial International Moot Court Competition Justified 2022, which we are going to celebrate along with you. We are going to inaugurate it. Mr. Sachin Puri is the alumnus of Law Center 2. And when he came to the Faculty of Law when he was talking to somebody that he wants to have a moot in the memory of his father, somehow I was sitting here and I came to know that he was alumnus of Law Center 2. So I offered him, why don't you have collaboration with Law Center 2 since you are the alumni of Law Center 2? And he agreed to it, and that collaboration is going on till date. This year, we have 38 teams have registered from all over the world. Somehow 2 teams have not submitted their memorials. So we are now having only 36 teams. And this moot competition will be held among them. Importance of mooting for legal education is unquestionable. Mooting competitions, they are basically the laboratories for the law students, where they can practice research in law, learn skill of communication, learn the ethics for presentation before the judges in the court of law. So it is a laboratory for them to be ready to appear in the court of law. So moot courts are integral part to the curriculum of any institution which is imparting legal education. The art of mooting is vital for budding lawyers. In our times, so much of moots did not took place. Some hardly 1 or 2 in an year we come to know that there is moot. Unfortunately, I have not during my student time participated in any one of them. But nowadays, mooting has become a culture of the law schools. Every now and then, we got an invitation for mooting. And let me tell you, from the very beginning, when we were not having our own national moot competition, even then we used to send our teams, student teams, to national and international moot competitions. And every year, they used to earn prizes. Sometimes best speaker, sometimes best memorial, sometimes best team, sometimes runner-up. Recently itself, they brought 4 prizes for Law Center 2, and one of them was international competition. So the mooting is there in the culture of Law Center 2 from the very beginning. Actually, mooting, it trains a student in the art of advocacy. In moot courts, students are given the facts of a case as if they are the established fact. And out of those established facts, they have to identify the issues and they have to prepare the arguments. That teaches them the research in law, what they will be expected to do from the very first day they enter into the court. Clients will come with a case, clients will tell the facts, and it is the lawyer, it is the advocates who will draft the issues and the arguments on their behalf. The moot court teaches the students this art of finding out the crux of the case and putting it before the court and convincing the court to accept their pleas, to accept their arguments. Because what is relevant is the duty of the judge is to find out the truth. And in finding out the truth, actually, there are two parties to a case. One of them is wrong, the other is right. But who wins? The party whose lawyer convinced the judge that this is true. And that is the purpose of organizing moot competition, to teach the student that whenever a case comes to you, irrespective of the fact that you are knowing that your client is wrong, you know that your client has committed the crime, still you have to defend him. And that depends on your convincing power, your power of communication with the judge, your manner of putting your case before the judge. So it is all that which we intend to teach by organizing these moots for the students. And the competitions such as the one which we are going to hold in the next 2 days, that is SK Puri International Moot Court Competition, which is organized by Law Center 2, provides the ideal opportunity to law students to showcase their mooting skill on such a huge platform, where we have teams competing from across the world for this competition. I welcome you all to this mega event and wish you all the best for the competition. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words, ma'am. I would now like to take the opportunity to invite our very own professor in charge of Law Center 2, Professor Mahavir Singh, who has been an ever-present support system and has encouraged the Moot Court Society every step of the way. Sir is an expert in constitutional law and jurisprudence, and apart from his glowing academic career, is also an avid legal writer. He currently holds several administrative positions, chief among them being the Chancellor's nominee in the Chaudhry Devilal University in Sirsa, the Ambedkar University in Sonipat. He is also a member of the Academic Council on behalf of the Chancellor in Chaudhry Ranbir Singh University in Jind, Haryana. Sir is a member of the Executive Council in Maharishi Valmiki Sanskrit University in Kaithal and is a member of the governing body of the Bharati College in Delhi University. Professor Singh is also an academic observer of the Vice Chancellor of the Delhi University in various selections and promotions of associate professors and professors in colleges in Delhi University. We are grateful for your presence here, sir. I invite you to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Anjali. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Very, very good evening, all of you. I am very much delighted to have this sweet evening for the purpose of celebration of our inaugural of Moot Court Society. Honorable distinguished guests, all my dear students, esteemed colleagues, present here for the inaugural ceremony of SK Memorial International Moot Court Competition Justified 2022. I am sure that all of you might know to the fact that gold has been the standard of exemplary purity and excellence since time immemorial. I'm very happy to be the part of this milestone of Law Center 2. Dear friends, while Delhi University is celebrating its centenary celebration in the year of 2022-23, Law Center 2 is celebrating its Golden Jubilee year 2021-22. We have already successfully organized number of programs, events, and activities, and we are on our way to create a roadmap for the future generation. In the continuance of celebrating 50th Golden Jubilee year of Law Center 2, today we are adding one more event in our Golden Jubilee celebration by organizing SK Memorial International Moot Court Competition Justified 2022. Law Center 2 has a long, proud, and distinctive history. It is one of the distinct center of Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. Law Center 2 was founded in the year of 1971 at the premises of ARSD College, Dholakua, to provide quality education while offering full-time LLB program. Today, Law Center 2 is a Golden Jubilee Center, continues to be a progressive center, and made a strategic commitment to the higher quality of teaching and research. It is premier institution and is known for its qualitative teaching, research, and other co-curricular and extracurricular activities. The center is a hub of research and learning for law students to promote students' activities at Law Center 2. A number of committees we have been constituted, like Moot Court Committee, Debate and Seminar Committee, Journal Committee, Legal Aid Committee, Placement Committee, and Alumni Committee. Law Center 2 had the privilege of being headed by the top law scholars of India, such as Professor Upendra Bakshi, Padam Shri Awardee, a well-known jurist and former Vice Chancellor of University of Delhi, Professor Tahir Mahmood, who subsequently became a chairperson of Minority Commission, Professor A.K. Kaul, who was elevated as Vice Chancellor, NLU Jodhpur and NLU Ranchi, Professor Gurdeep Singh Bahari. Today, we are more much delighted and feel privileged to have our own Professor Gurdeep Singh Bahari, who became a Vice Chancellor, of NLU Lucknow, and today he is a Chancellor of University, and it's a Professor B.T. Kaul, who served as Chairperson Judicial Academy. Professor Poonam Saxena is presently Vice Chancellor of NLU Jodhpur. And Law Center 2 has the privilege of having alumni from all walks of life. As Law Center 2 is celebrating 50 years of teaching, the center has grown exponentially in footprint, academic offerings, and student body. Today, number of alumni of centers are contributing in the future of India. The alumni included senior bureaucrats, police officers, revenue officers, doctors, engineers, chartered accountants, company secretaries, politicians, etc. Some of its alumni is Excellency. His Excellency, Honorable Governor of Arunachal Pradesh, Brigadier Sri B.D. Misraji. B.D. Misraji, Sri K.J. Alphonse, Member Rajya Sabha, Minister of State of Tourism, Justice B.D. Ahmed, Justice Kailash Gambhir, Justice S.N. Dhingra, Justice Rajiv Sakdar, Justice V.K. Rao, Mr. M. Damodaran, Mr. G.D. Geha, Mr. Manoj Kumar, Professor Manoj Kumar Sinha, Director, Indian Law Institute, New Delhi, Among many more legal luminaries, Law Center 2 has been publishing 2 journals named National Law Capital Journal and Daily Journal of Contemporary Law, publishing quality research papers in the field of law and contemporary issue. I feel greatly proud to be currently associated with Law Center 2. My dear students, colleagues, non-teaching staff, everyone associated with Law Center 2, we crossed the zigzag path of 1,000 turmoil and tendencies, and today it is time to celebrate, to introspect and consolidate, and to plan for Law Center 2 future. Law Center 2 enthusiastically encouraged a robust mooting culture among its students by regularly organizing moot court competition. And today, I am very much delighted to have with us Honorable Justice Mini Puskarna, Judge, Delhi High Court. Thank you, Madam, for joining us. Justice Mini Puskarna did her schooling from Springdale School, Dholakwa, and was the school topper of her stream in the class 12th board examination. She completed her honors in political science from Hindu College, Delhi University, her law degree from Campus Law Center, Delhi University. Before being elevated, she had over 25 years of experience as an advocate at bar, during which period she has been the standing counsel for various bodies, including the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, Delhi Urban Slum Improvement Board, and on the panel of Services Department of Delhi government, etc. She has had a varied experience in various fields of practice at the bar and has contested cases including those related to the tender and contract matters, arbitration, service law, suits. She was also on the panel of arbitrators with the Delhi International Arbitration Center. In her early years of practice, she had also done matters as lawyer with the Legal Aid and Advice Board and been a reporter for many years with the Supreme Court Reporters, which is the official journal of the Supreme Court of India. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us, and I extend my heartfelt welcome to you on the behalf of Law Center 2, on the behalf of our Moot Court Society and Law Center 2. Thank you, madam, for joining us, and I again and again extend my heartfelt welcome to you. Next, distinguished scholar, distinguished personality, not only at national level, but international level, our own Professor Gurdeep Singh Bhariji is our own beloved member of Law Center 2, who had been remained professor in charge of Law Center 2 and had been remained dean head of our Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. Professor Singh is a distinguished academician, having over 44 years of teaching experience and administrative experience in the prestigious University of Delhi. He had the position of head and dean, Faculty of Law from 2010 to 2013. He also served Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, National Law University, Lucknow, as Vice Chancellor. Under his stewardship, the university achieved the new heights of excellence in teaching and research. He has been nominated as a member of governing bodies and general councils of several universities and institutions. He has also been an expert member of various UGC committees. Professor Singh has been the recipient of several prestigious fellowship in India. He has also been proud recipient of several international fellowships like the Doctoral Fellowship at the Hague Academy of International Law, the Hague International Humanitarian Law, International Committee of Red Cross, Geneva International Negotiation Process of Salzburg, Austria, and UN Fellow, International Law Commission, Geneva. He was also awarded the National Law Day Award 2013 on November 30th of 2013 at Vigyan Bhavan, New Delhi, in recognition of his pivotal role played by him in improving the standard of legal education in India. The Himachal Pradesh National Law University, Shimla, has honored Professor Gurdeep Singh by appointing him Distinguished Professor of the University. I welcome you, sir, at your own home. At your own home, Law Center 2. And I welcome you and
नहीं मैंने सोच लिया अभी वो जो आ जाएगा ना डीडी नया वो उसके पास होते हैं सारे सेंटर्स ना
तुम्हारे पास नहीं है
अरे कौन बोल रहे हैं
Please mute yourself, everyone.
Now, our own head and dean, Professor Usha Tandon ji, who spared her precious time for joining us. Professor Dr. Usha Tandon ji is an eminent professor of environmental law, population law, gender justice and family law, with a teaching experience of more than 30 years. She is a world-renowned scholar for her work on human development, focusing on environmental protection and women empowerment. She has been the fellow of Max Planck Institute for International and Comparative Private Law, Hamburg, Germany, 2011, International Institute of Human Rights, Strasbourg, France, and has to her credit, she which specializes her in the university human rights teaching. She has the honor of being invited by the Center for Human Rights and Humanitarian Law, American University, Washington College of Law, USA, to pursue research on human rights and women's reproductive health in 2004. Thank you, madam, for joining us. I welcome you from the core of my heart on behalf of the family of LC2. Now, I also pay my thanks to Advocate Sachin Puri. Mr. Sachin Puri had the unique honor of being one of the youngest advocates to be designated as senior advocate by the Delhi High Court. Being an alumnus of Law Center 2, he instituted the memorial Moot Court competition in the memory of his late father to help law students imbibe the qualities espoused by Sri S.K. Puri and to enhance their knowledge and skill. Mr. Sachin Puri spent the first 15 years his practice establishing and working as the managing partner of Messrs. You call advocates and consultants, where he has extensively dealt with high-profile litigations, civil and criminal, and representing both government authorities, organizations, and private persons. He has been a legal consultant to Indian and foreign multinational, including Fortune 500, as well as has represented prominent individual in a high-profile matter. Thank you, sir, for instituting SK Memorial International Moot Court competition at LC2. I welcome you also, sir, on behalf of the family of Law Center 2. Now I pay my sincere wishes to the participants of Moot Court Society and other participants from various law colleges. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you for that lively and informative speech and introduction, sir. I now invite our Head and Dean of Faculty, Professor Usha Tandon, to please address our August gathering.
Honorable Miss Justice Minnie Pushkarna, respected Professor Gurdeep Singh Bahari, Professor Mahavir Singh, Professor Kiran Gupta, Mr. Pramod Tiwari, Mr. Sachin Puri, other colleagues, and very important, the students, the participating teams who are connected to this platform through this mode of technology. A very good evening to all of you. Well, I'm extremely delighted to have dear and respected Honorable Miss Justice Minnie Pushkarna as the chief guest of this occasion. Before joining this platform, I merely knew this thing that she is one of our alumnus. But when before the program, we just interacted with her, and the kind of things which I could make out from her body language and the joy on her face, that how she's really, she herself is extremely feeling to be back home herein, was really amazing. It's here that only she told us that she happens to be a student here at Delhi University Faculty of Law from the Campus Law Center from 1993 to 1996. So as a matter of fact, it's a very pride moment for all of us that we are having with us our own, I will say, Justice Minnie Pushkarna. Let me tell you, yes, Faculty of Law Delhi University is having, as we say, it's a glorious past. And one of the features of this glorious past happened to be that we have contributed to the nation, not only cabinet ministers, but also there in the judiciary. And but not all who achieve the heights really know their roots. Tell me, I'm telling you with my own experience of around now 33 years. So this thing which impressed me the most is the kind of happiness and the kind of belonging which I found with Justice Minnie Pushkarna. Justice Minnie Pushkarna, if I can share with you one of the things, you know, at one point of a time, I was giving an interview to an international research organization. And that interview is available on the internet, and it is spread over around an hour or so. So the interview was more on my experiences as a teacher, as an academician. And more so it was that why after doing LLB and then the masters, we have chosen the academics and not the bench and the bar where there is no end to the money and all these. So one of the questions which was asked to me was, what is so satisfying to be a teacher in this particular profession? Now I recall that particular kind of a thing. The answer which I was given was that the most satisfying thing is that when we see our own the students in the context of the law faculty, I will say, budding lawyers grow and blossom. Why? Because you may not be knowing that how we, the teachers, we relate ourselves. So wherever you go, wherever you grow, it's our own growth. Why? Because we see that as, oh, even though the other person may be knowing or not, but we tell so many people that she or he happens to be a part of this particular faculty. But that's a story from our part. That's a story that this is satisfying to us as a teacher that we related. But yes, it happens to be a mixed story. Those who rise, those who attain the towering heights, to what extent they, they feel themselves connected with the roots is another story. But yes, of course, I do find that some of the persons who go a long way, they always remember their roots. And I'm really so happy, so delighted in having you here. So I'm just missing out, and I will say Professor Mahavir and Kiran Gupta also, that why you are having it there on the online mode. You should have had it on the ground so that we could really interacted in person. So it is just a beginning, and I think we are going to have many more interactions, as I said, therein. So really a very warm welcome to you. I will say on coming back home herein. I'm equally delighted, immensely happy to have our own, I will say, Professor Gurdeep Singh Mahari. Even though he has been my teacher and mentor, even though I have been right from the very beginning at the CLC, yes, I joined from Law Center too. From those students who are connected herein. My first year of teaching was there at the LC2, but later on I happened to be there at the Campus Law Center. So even though both of us were at the different centers, but as a colleague, we have interacted a lot, and I always saw my elder brother, Injustice Bahari. At many times, whenever I was in need, I took his suggestions, and he has always been very kind to show the right direction. So a very warm welcome to you, sir, that you have joined and here on this particular occasion. And again, I'm saying that now we have resumed. Our programs are there, and maybe that so many other things are also lined up. So we would like to have your services more and more. Stay connected with your own faculty, sir. It's pretty long time, as is told by Professor Kiran, that now the Law Center 2 is organizing, at least from the year 2015, the national level moot court competitions. And the name of this, as now we are having, is SK Puri International Moot Court Competition. I was just wondering which edition of SK Puri International Moot Court Competition it is. So I think in the future, if we can just add on, if it is 4th, 3rd, 5th, whatever it is. So it will give, I think, a better popularity also to this, the competition. And again, just when I'm in having a reading of all these things, I think now we can say goodbye to Justified. Why? Because Justified was there when SK Puri International Moot Court Competition was not there. So having two together, because Justified was our own creation. So now we are having it. So it will really, I mean, title better if we are simply having this 3rd, 4th, 5th. And then, of course, SK Puri Memorial International Moot Court Competition. And naturally, encouraging response from the teams, 38 or 36 teams. And I'm sure there are certain teams which are from other countries also. It would have been easy for anyone sitting anywhere. Why? Because again, this time it is going to be, it is continuing to be that on the online mode. And hopefully next year we'll be having it back. Normal days, the old normal days, not the new normalcy. And it's really a good sign that from NCR, it has risen to the international level. I'm very happy, I mean, to see it, that how successfully this particular competition is growing. Well, the students who are connected herein at this particular stage are well prepared with all skills and everything relating to the moot court. So we need not tell anything to them on this. They are well versed with their whatever problem has been given to them and the other kind of the things. But yes, this is true that these days mooting has become an essential part of legal education. Why? Because there is a compulsory subject also therein. But here we are not talking about a subject, we are talking about a competition which gives a wonderful opportunity to the students to learn the law in a different manner. And having developed that particular, what we say, critical thinking, which is very essential to become a lawyer. And of course, either we say art of advocacy or we say art of persuasion. This is one of the best ways to learn it. Some say it's a kind of a lab. The others say it's a kind of a sport. But whatever it is, it's really a very stimulating exercise for the students to learn it in a different environment than whatever we are having in the classroom, Socratic or lecture methods, etc. And I think participation in the moot court is also very interesting learning also, because it happens to be in a team. And during this, you acquire so many soft skills also. Those soft skills may be just your confidence building, or it may be taking a lead, or it may be anything. Why? Because you are not alone, you are in a team. That support which you get from the team also gives you a unique kind of the confidence. But the nature or the principle of moot court, any competition, is that it is the best team which wins. But the beauty of the competition happens to be that each one of the persons or that teams who are associated with it take back something with them. So the kind of training or the skills, exposure, confidence, whatever you will be getting here, dear participants, whatever you will be getting here will make you victorious at one point or the other in your whole journey. It's not a time to give a long speech. It's not a time to give any serious speech. Why? Because I know our these participants know much more than us. I had a very quick browsing of this moot court competition, which I found very interesting and relevant also, because you also take into consideration what's happening in the world and relate it. So we are having best person to speak on the international law, Professor Bahari. This particular this moot problem also touches the aspects of the international law and the human rights law, nuclear, and then of course environmental law, this and that kind of a thing. So I will just say one thing only, because I was just browsing the profile of Shri S.K. Puri also, and therein I found one thing which I would like to emphasize for the students, for the participating teams. Now, there is a huge literature on what are the attributes, what are the things, what are the steps to gain this art of advocacy, this and that. But the three things which you can learn from the profile of Shri S.K. Puri, in the name of which we are going to have this competition, is it talks about 3 P's. And if I remember them correctly, perhaps it is preparation, practice, and perseverance. And of course, third one, perseverance, is very, very important, not only in order to win the competition. This is very important throughout your life, wherever you work hard. Because when we work hard, we may not get the fruits immediately. So it is at that particular time that we should have faith. You may say faith in God, you may say faith in system, you may say faith in yourself, but whatever, that perseverance is very, very important. So I wind up my address by wishing the organizers a great success and all the participants good luck. Thank you.
Thank you for that very warm and personalized address, ma'am. Thank you for all your kind words. I now invite our guest of honor, Professor Gurdeep Singh Bari, to address this august audience. So please.
Thank you. It is my pleasure, not only pleasure, but privilege to be with all of you, especially on the moot court, memorial moot court, on the international problem itself. Mr. S.K. Puri used to be our very good family friend, very good family friend. We not only knew each other well, but we used to visit each other many of them. And the best part is that he himself is a product of Delhi University. passed his law degree way back in 1960. Thereafter, he was so well known in the practice that everyone used to respect him. I cannot forget the days when he was engaged, especially for cross-examination. Such an expert in cross-examination. He had that capability to make the witness, to persuade the witness to speak the truth. It's a rare thought, which he must. So, cross-examination was his specialty. Well, I had the privilege of teaching both his sons, Gaurav and Sachin. They used to be very small at that time. Then thereafter, they have been. And Sachin is the person who became designated senior advocate at a very young age. Perhaps, if I'm not wrong, he is youngest senior advocate. So I'm so glad that Sachin thought of conferring an honor on Law Center 2 by instituting S.K. Puri Memorial Moot Court Competition. We all know the importance of moot courts for this country. We all know what really mooting means. It is not mere argumentation. It is not mere communication. It is much more than it. A true mooter is one who is capable of persuasive argumentation, who is capable to persuade the court to his point of view. This is a real art. One may be good in communication, one may be good in argumentation, but this is something much more than argument. Persuasion is real art. And a mooter must always remain calm, patient, and to never get upset when judges ask questions. As a matter of fact, the first thing to be kept in mind for a mooter is never interrupt the court. Never ever interrupt the court. But if the court interrupts, stop speaking immediately. Hear what judge wants to convey. Understand the question, and then thereafter come out into it. One has to be very, very respectful to the court. Very respectful. And when you appear in the court, take care that you don't accuse anyone. Never raise finger or hand towards the court. No hand gestures in the court. The teacher is used to hand gestures, but mooter should never do that. Never. The first thing is not only to understand the problem, but to understand the standpoint of the other party. And then have knowledge of the law applicable and apply law to the facts. For doing all that, analytical mind is required. So it is in the faculty of law that analytical minds are inculcated. In practice, this has to be carried further. My dearest friends, there is a problem which involves multifarious issues. The issue of armed conflict, the issue of threat to use nuclear weapons, and most importantly, the issue of violence against ethnic minority. And it is here that you need the knowledge of the procedural aspects in international court of justice. Because the problem is not a problem which would appear in the local court. The problem is a problem of international law, and the proper forum is international court of justice for adjudication purposes. When it comes to International Court of Justice, the first question before the court is whether it has jurisdiction over the case. The court has to first establish that it has the jurisdiction. It doesn't have jurisdiction automatically over all disputes, no. Consent is the basis of the jurisdiction of the court. Consents of disputing states. And this consent can be conferred on the court either after the dispute arises or even well in advance by making declaration to the state. But the important rule is that of reciprocity. Court will acquire jurisdiction only when the dispute falls within the overlapping zone of the declarations made by the disputing states. And as you know, the practice is that states do not make unconditional and unreserved declaration for accepting the jurisdiction. Many reservations are made there. Maybe it is United States, maybe it is India, many reservations. Look at our declaration, you will find so many. Every country is doing it. But court will have jurisdiction only when the declarations made by the disputing states coincide. They overlap. And it is this overlapping zone wherein the dispute must fall so that the court acquires jurisdiction. Well, I had the privilege to be in the International Court of Justice when our own Dr. Nagendra Singh was president of the court. Dutch weather never suited him. He used to live in his personal bungalow in England. And whenever we wanted to visit England, we used to write to the court, meeting with Dr. Nagendra Singh. Well, those were the days. And at that time, International Court of Justice came to be known as a court without a case. Because the states hesitated to refer the cases to the court. Hardly it had one or two cases pending before. And earlier, no case at all. Now the court is a very busy court. Scenario has changed. My dearest friends, to justify the moot court problem, you have to read first international humanitarian genocide convention, because atrocities against ethnic minorities are involved in a major way in this problem. Genocide convention, all Geneva conventions, including the protocols, because it's humanitarian law which is applicable in armed conflict. And then law on the protection of ethnic minorities. We have an international convention on elimination of racial discrimination. A whole lot of law is available. I'm not going into that. I'm sure that students must be prepared. The essential element to appear in the International Court of Justice is be well prepared to do the homework. The practice in the International Court of Justice is that judges there fire a volley of questions on the witness, and the witness gets baffled. Even the advocates appearing get baffled. But then, under the circumstances, if witnesses are well prepared by the advocates, they maintain their balance, don't get disturbed by the volley of questions. The justice is given. Right. Said and done. Here is a problem which involves environmental law, which involves, when it comes to the armed force, we all know armed force harms environment also. We already have witnessed climate change, which is still spreading its wings. We have seen the floods almost everywhere in India. Summers are becoming hotter, winters are becoming cooler. The whole climatic pattern is changing. Major problem. Then problem of pollution, especially in Delhi. Delhi is the most polluted city. And if I bring to your notice, India figures among the last few countries when it comes to pollution. Last few countries in the list. At the top are Finland, Denmark, and Sweden. Among developed countries, even United States has 20th position. So we talk of better world for our future generations. And we have before us sustainable development goals adopted by the General Assembly way back in 2015. And these goals have to be achieved by 2030. These goals are blueprint for the mankind, blueprint for making our planet a better place to live. a healthier place to live. There are 17 goals. I'm not going into these goals. I'm only placing before all the learned scholars and our very, very bright students and participants here, that all these goals are interlinked. All talk about human rights in one form or the other. Maybe it is no poverty, no hunger, gender equality, climate, life below water, life on the land, anyone, and it is included in sustainable development. The unfortunate part here is that we are way behind achievement of the goals by 2030. Way behind. And if you look into environmental performance index, we find that even the topmost countries, the 3 countries which I have named top in the list, that of Finland, Denmark, and Sweden, they are way behind in achieving the sustainable development goals by 2030. Way behind.
Sir,
The road is very bumpy.
sir, Bari sir, may I intervene?
Surely,
Bari sir, may I intervene?
surely.
I am really very sorry and apologetic. But Justice Mini Pushkarna has to join a meeting.
Okay.
So if let her speak first.
Concluding in 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Okay,
and
okay. Okay,
I
sir.
will-
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you
aware.
very much. I am really sorry.
Spoken
Really
before
sorry.
me.
Okay.
I know about her busy schedule. Anyhow, the road to achievement of sustainable development goals. If you look at the problem, the issues involved are a setback to the goals. But then we have to achieve the goal. I wanted to bring to your notice that the road is bumpy. And there are many landmines on the way. But we have to come above all these problems, do our best, put our best foot forward, and work hard to achieve sustainable development goals if we want to make planet a better place to live. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your encouraging and informative words, sir. I'm sure all our participants will take away a lot of useful lessons from your experience. And I now invite our esteemed chief guest, Honorable Ms. Justice Mini Pushkarna, to kindly address our audience and to declare the competition open. Ma'am.
Very good evening to the eminent faculty and eminent guests, Professor Dr. Usha Tandon, Professor Mahavir Singh Gehlot, Professor Kiran Gupta, Professor Gurdeep Singh Bahari, Shri Sachin Puri, Senior Advocate, and other members of his family, ladies and gentlemen, and other students who have joined. I would like to congratulate the organizing committee for planning and organizing this latest edition of this Moot competition being held in the memory of Shri S.K. Puri, Senior Advocate, who was one of the most eminent members of the bar. Shri S.K. Puri was a brilliant lawyer in every possible way, and he had built up a great reputation for his gentle style of incisive cross-examination skills, which surely brought even the toughest of witnesses to have a difficult time in the witness box. It is also interesting to note that one of the most prominent landmark road with the name Vakil Lane in central Delhi is also named after the eminent member of the family, which has eminent professionals running down many generations. My heartiest congratulations once again. The subject of the present Moot proposition is before the International Court of Justice. As such, by the very nature of its global concept, one will have representation from various parts of the world. Such a fora will therefore often bring in contrasting styles of advocacy from different parts of the country and the world. The final outcome and verdict may affect the lives and livelihood of millions of people living in either of those two countries and also in other parts of the world. Handling advocacy, presentation of the case, and the legal research and analysis is therefore no less than handling weapons in such an important case. I'm sure in the coming sessions, we'll see a hotly contested seesaw battle. This moot court, where such a case is going to be tried, will therefore likely to be an interesting theater of the verbal war over the next few days. The eminent faculty of various participating law schools have surely prepared their students' lawyers well for this intense battle. On the advantages of mooting, I would just like to say that mooting has always been held as being the practical side of preparing the students of law for the actual practice before the courts. As such, the moot court competitions held during the study of law offers much experience and new knowledge regarding the application of law to a practical case situation and on what to expect before the actual court of law. This experience at a moot court, when coupled with the experience obtained by the law student during the actual visits to court during the period of internship, is thus invaluable in making the student court ready. There are certainly many other advantages of holding such moots that can one think of. It somewhat connects the law students to the real court experience. It develops the ability to identify the legal subject, arrange the various law materials on the subject, prepare the forensic case analysis, and then plead the arguments for the party which has engaged it. This experience in participating, or even to a large extent, by watching the moot will help you to develop in the future as a counsel. Even the students who are the spectators stand to benefit greatly as they get a chance to make their own notes and points on the case in progress. In fact, I would recommend that even among the informal group of friends in the law college, it would often be useful to hold these small moot courts on cases and events happening around you in society. This exercise is particularly useful for those who may otherwise be shy in making presentations before larger audiences. You can organize a simple moot court between friends and batchmates, or even across the batch, and also invite a friend or a neutral group as observer to make notes on your performance. You can even request yourself to be filmed on your own phone, and which may help you to review many mistakes that you may be making during your performance. Such practice at presentations, even in an informal setting of fellow students and friends, greatly helps in anticipating questions which may come up at the actual hearing, and so you can always have answers planned better and researched better. Your assistance to the court will definitely improve with this practice, and it will help you in avoiding the most common presentation mistakes which you may otherwise commit at the actual hearing. Sometimes you should also try acting as a judge in those informal mock trial between friends. You may see the things in a totally different horizon. You will understand how you have to sometimes cast your weight with the weaker side, the weaker counsel, to be able to get a fairer view of the matter. You will be able to see that what you understand as an open and shut case as a counsel has many serious shortcomings when the view of the other side is heard. Try even to do a mock writing of judgment for a matter or two. It will help you to write clearly and analyze facts better. It will help you understand why the task on the other side is so much more difficult at times, and so each bit of your contribution as a counsel counts. However, I also must add a caveat. When you go in actual practice, never commit the mistake of treating the court as an extended moot court. That is not so. You may be brilliant in a mock court setting, but in a live adversarial system, it may be quite different. Unlike the moot court, it is not you who is on the test or trial of performance, but the case of the real person that you have to present. Oration or training in moot, it may be just 2 points out of 10. The others are instinct, the art of remaining silent at many times, analyzing drafting, logical thinking, psychology, ability to move backward when required, to be able to proceed further in interest of the client, and many other skill sets. Drafting is, of course, one of the main keys for such court cases, apart from the notes for the hearing, which you may need. A few tips which I would like to give on advocacy when you go in actual practice. One is importance of written advocacy. Advocacy may also in many settings be largely non-verbal. Written advocacy has an important role and can be a powerful persuasive tool. It is important to check the rules of the relevant court when preparing the pleadings, witness statements, affidavits, or submissions in order to comply with the requirements as to form and substance. These requirements will vary between jurisdictions. However, when considering how to make a pleading the most persuasive tool that it can be, it is important to keep in mind the purpose of pleadings. Pleadings and documents designed to ensure that all material facts and questions of law in dispute between the parties are stated clearly for the court's determination. The pleadings are the first document to which a decision maker will refer. First impression will be formed on a reading of the pleadings. Therefore, when there's a scope in a pleading to organize and present the facts in such a way as to lead to the conclusion for which you contend, that opportunity should not be lost. An advocate should consider what facts should be pleaded, what level of detail should be pleaded, in what order the facts should be pleaded. Therefore, your note should begin with sequence of your best 4 points which are in your favor. This note is to be with reference to page numbers and the law on that point. It is similarly to be succeeded by a note on the 3 worst points for which you may and flag and foresee the matter, and then it should contain your brief answers to them. The importance of flagging is that when you flag your file for the most important pages and write on the flag a marking, this is what you do it's an important document. It helps you immensely while making your submission before the court to locate the document in the file instantly. If the few relevant pages are not flagged, then shuttling frequently on the file may not only distract you, but the frequent gaps without purpose can flatten the punch out of the arguments and may also distract the court. And then advocacy is all about keeping it simple. Advocacy is not always about your expertise in law or being the best performer in your case. Quite often, it may simply be about being simple in delivering the crisp message to the intended audience in court in the simplest possible manner. The most powerful speech put into the pocket of an ill-prepared advocate can kill that speech, whereas a half-baked speech in the hands of a great advocate can conjure a great performance. So remember that advocacy is not just to be enjoyed. It is also a commitment towards reducing the cost of providing justice by presenting concise and accurate facts and law in a manner that appeals to the judicial mind and establishes your case. And as a lawyer, you must know when to stop. Control the urge to collect fame by constantly trying to speak on what you have read for the matter, even if that was neither required for that hearing nor was going to change the outcome. It is very important to have a controlled speech. We have a lot of young counsels who have prepared their brief well and are eager to get up and perform and interject with their points at the first chance in court. They're eager to show their preparation of the law points and the judgments. However, quite often, one unexpected question from the court or one twist in the matter based on a submission of the court side, and they're badly derailed in their presentation. Some of them start even more aggressive submissions and defending on their facts, despite knowing that they're not answering the questions or the turn of the event in the matter and that their context has gone all wrong. Suddenly they feel vulnerable due to their early years and wish that matter be taken over by someone senior from office who can partly salvage the situation. So be cautious of the overconfidence because of your over-preparation of the brief. Critically keep flooring yourself. The same performance which was considered good on a previous occasion may now probably appear reckless to you. This is for the reason that you will now start to understand slowly as to how even one mistake in an otherwise fearless performance can undo all the good work that you may have done in a matter. It may be a sheer chance that on that good day, when you came out rolling from court with elation, everything worked in your favor. But on another day in the same brief, where you may have worked equally hard, you may still lose great credibility in court because you may have missed that one critical proposition or made that one wrong submission before the court in response. As you season over the years, you understand the meaning of the term averaging out. Another important thing is never raise your voice in court. Do not raise your voice or become aggressive while arguing. Raising your voice or becoming aggressive while presenting your case in court will earn you no favorable points with the court. The court generally expects you to be fair and dependable lawyer. Restraint is sometimes the key, as you have to remember that any mishap for your conduct is often suffered by the client. And something which I always say is that lawyer is like a storyteller. This does not mean that you have to tell stories in court, but what it means is that you have to be engaging and persuasive enough to let the other side see the overall story in your case. Remember how your grandmother or the grandfather may have kept you on the toes with that engaging story they had. A lawyer is to be always engaging with his submissions like as a storyteller. So being a storyteller means simply to be engaging and sequential in a way that the theme builds up to culminate with conviction for the end that you want. Both sides will tell their competing versions, and whosoever is more convincing will often get the verdict. So strong opening with the theme of your case and best 3 points to support. This is something very important. Then crisp and simple language with brevity, and recreating the scene in court as you want it to be seen. Another important point is addressing with brevity on the 2 best points of the opposite side. And finish with the suggested conclusion you want the court to tender in your peculiar facts. The key is engaging sufficient time and interest of the court on your strongest points, especially if the court has already read the brief and has already started with an apparent prejudice or view against your case. So to be able to come to a position where you put that prejudice on hold, you have to show the biggest and the best point, which may open the next window of attention for your case. It is not about dramatics, but structure, cohesion, and planning for the presentation so that it remains interesting and engaging. And invariably, your case theme or submission may revolve around questions like, what do I want? When the sequence of dates or events relevant to what you want? Where do the facts and law support you? How do I prove my point? How do I disprove the facts or case of the other side? Who, if anyone is guilty, then who according to me? And then periodically keep assessing yourself as to whether your point is clicking with the court or not. So if you keep assessing yourself as to the fact if the point you are trying to make it is being appreciated or not. If not, then try to explain it differently. But you can proceed on the next point only when you have cleared that perspective of the previous point. If the new point is, however, totally unconnected with this first point, then of course you can sometimes make the new point, which may get greater interest from the court, and revert to the old point later after some time. You are already on your next best point, though court has not yet absorbed the first, or that the court is still reading the precedent you have cited, or is otherwise relevant. So court is still processing the information sometimes. So therefore, it's important that you assess the mood of the court. Remember that sometimes the court is expecting a wise counsel, which includes fairness and experienced view, a balanced workable situation, and if possible, a solution with least confrontation. Amicable resolution is quite often the effort, unless the law is required to be positively decided and applied. So assess the mood of the court and do not try and force an argument till you have explored the reasonableness of any suggestion the court may have had made. And I wish all the participants all the best for their performance in the coming days. And thank you so much for having me and for such a warm welcome. And thank you especially Professor Usha Tandon for the warm welcome. Thank you so much.
I thank your ladyship on behalf of Law Center 2 and our very august gathering here for gracing us with your presence and imparting such informative and pragmatic lessons. Thank you, ma'am. I now invite Mr. Pramod Tiwari, Senior Assistant Professor at Law Center 2, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you very much. And good evening, very good evening to all the August gathering present over here. This is the matter of proud privilege for me to express the warm vote of thanks to the August gathering of this moot court competition of Law Center 2. Firstly, my sincere vote of thanks to today's chief guest of the event, Honorable Justice Mini Puskarna ji. So very, very thankful to you, ma'am, because you have spared your such a valuable time, because you have spent entire day from the justice delivery system before the court, and now you have the meeting. Even then in mid time, you have joined us in this late evening. So Law Center 2 would be highly thankful to you for this joining, ma'am. We are thankful to you, ma'am. In your opening address, you have given the advantage of mooting. And you have also encouraged the student, particularly law student, ki mooting is how much important in your legal career. And you have also said ki there is big difference between mooting before the moot court competition and actual practice before the court of law. Ma'am, you have also encouraged the participant how they should argue before the court of law. And you have told them too many nuances, how they should proceed before the court of law, how they should convince the court of law, how fact and law should be correlated by these participants before the court of law. I think, ma'am, your entire address would be much more beneficial for the participants in event tomorrow. So thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. And Law Center 2 would be highly thankful to you for joining us today evening. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now my sincere and respectful thanks to today's guest of honor, Professor Gurdeep Singh Bari ji. Sir, you also alumnus of Law Center 2, and you have joined us and you have given your academic address in very, very elaborate way. You have told that what is the meaning of mooting actually in law courts. You have also told the fundamental of jurisdiction, how jurisdiction of International Law Court of Justice may be invoked by the participants. You have also told too many conventions, too many protocols which has take place at the international level. And you have told the participants how international mooting is to be done before the court. Although we have very less time, and that is why we could not listen you in such an elaborate manner, because chief guest have the meeting just now. So for that, Law Center 2 is apologize for that. But from the bottom of my heart, I express my sincere thanks to you for devoting such a valuable time with us in such a busy schedule of your academic and administrative assignment. So thank you, sir. Thanks a lot on behalf of the Law Center 2. I express my warm thanks to you. Thank you, sir. Now, my very sincere and respectful thanks to our respected Dean, Professor Dr. Usha Tandon, ma'am. Ma'am has too many academic and administrative assignment at the department and also at the university level. But even then, she has devoted her valuable time with us, and she told the participants how mooting is to be done. And she has welcomed very warmly the chief guest and guest of honor of today's event on behalf of the Law Center 2 Faculty of Law. So, ma'am, Law Center 2 would be highly thankful to you for participating and for giving such a presidential and welcome address to all the guests and guests of honor. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. My sincere thanks to our beloved professor in charge, Professor Dr. Mahavir Singh Kolun. He is always ready and willing to assist us and encourage us to organize such type of programs always. So in the leadership of his only, we are able to organize this program. So we are highly thankful to you, sir. You have given the glorious history of Law Center 2. You have also named all those legal luminaries which are working throughout the nation and international level and who are the alumnus of Law Center 2. Perhaps many of us might not aware with this legacy of Law Center 2. So we are thankful to you, sir. Thanks a lot. My heartfelt and respectful thanks to convener of Moot Court Society, Professor Dr. Kiran Gupta ma'am. In her leadership only, the Justified 2015 was started. And today only we are observing this Justified 2022 in her leadership only. So this is a great contribution for such a great professor of the department. She has started the Justified 2015 and today we are observing 2022 Justified in her leadership only. She has given too many important and too many academic excellent information to the participants. And I think her information would be highly beneficial for the participants in event tomorrow. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot to you also. My sincere and very respectable thanks to senior advocate Sri Sachin Puri ji. Sachin Puri ji is always helps us and always ready to help us to organize Moot Court at Law Center 2. Since I am the teacher member of Moot Court Society from many years in this department, and I am observing that Sachin Puri ji is always ready and willing to assist us with all dimensions and without any restriction and condition. When any of the teacher or student approach him, he never say no. So he always says yes. So for that, Law Center 2 would be highly thankful to you, sir. We are thankful from the core of our heart. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. My sincere thanks to all the teacher members of Moot Court Society Law Center 2. And my special thanks to Dr. Asutosh Acharya. He has taken the lead of entire event. And he has made this program grand success. So my sincere thanks to all the colleagues of Moot Court Society of Law Center 2. My very, very best wishes and sincere thanks to student members of Moot Court Society Law Center 2. And a special thanks to student convener Law Center 2 Moot Court Society, Anjali Singh. She was very much busy and she has done a lot of work to organize this event. And she has made a great effort to organize this event. So Anjali and all your team needs a very, very thankful words on the part of Law Center 2 Faculty of Law. We are thankful to you, beta. We are thankful to you. I express my heartfelt thank on behalf of Law Center 2, particularly from Moot Court Society, to our technical supporter, Dr. Ajay Sonawane ji. He is always ready and willing to assist us in each and every program, including this Moot Court competition. So Ajay sir, we express our heartfelt thanks to you on behalf of Law Center 2. Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks to all the participants from various universities of the country and also abroad. My sincere thanks to participants, particularly of Nottingham University. They have registering themselves with us. So that is a matter of great pride for us. And my sincere thanks and best wishes to all the participants who have joined us and who are going to participate tomorrow event. So my best wishes to all of us and my Ashirwad to you, all of you. Now, last but not the least, my very sincere thanks to all the participants, all the students of all the 3 centers and other law colleges from the country, because they have joined us and they have made this program grand success. So my thank you to all. And again, I express my heartfelt thanks on behalf of Law Center 2 Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, to all for joining us. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to add just one more name to this very exhaustive list of vote of thanks. We would also like to extend our warmest regards and thanks to Mr. Praveen Sharma ji from Senior Advocate Sachin Puri ji's office, who has been hand-holding us through this entire process and has made communication very, very easy and has been a very sturdy backbone for
Yes, Anjali. Yes,
the
Anjali.
preparation.
Heartfelt thank to him, Sarmaji. Heartfelt thank to you on behalf of Law Center 2, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. Thank you, Sarmaji. Thank you. Thank you for you.
I would thank all of you, all of our honorable guests for being present here, all the teams that have joined us for this inaugural ceremony. Thank you all for being here. Ma'am, Usha ma'am, would you like to add
I
something?
think we can leave now. You can continue. I mean, maybe that you are going further for the exchange of memorials, but I think we can leave now.
Yes, ma'am. We will be concluding.
And
we will be concluding the inaugural ceremony here. The release of fixtures and the exchange of memorials shall happen with the participants over email.
So we can leave. Our chief guests can leave, and
yes, ma'am. Definitely, ma'am. I thank everybody for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
So much. Thank you.
Your Lordship.